Here is our third video about making our map for Blue Willow. There's a list on your instruction page of what to label. So you're going to label the Pacific Ocean, the San Joaquin River, the Sacramento River, and Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe is not in our story, but a lot of people have been there or may go there someday, so it's good to know where that is in California. So let's look at the map. Let's label the Pacific Ocean, which is out here. When we're labeling, everything runs straight across the page, not crooked like this, straight across the page. So let's label it right about here. So we're going to draw a line. Then we're going to draw another line parallel to it, straight, not crooked, straight. I don't know if you can see my first line. I'll draw it darker. But when you are drawing your lines, can you see it now? Yes, you can. Do not draw these lines very dark, or you won't be able to erase them. These are just guidelines. They're not going to stay on your paper. And then the trick that we figured out last year, we want all of our guidelines to be the same height. So I'm lining up my first line with the littlest, shortest lines on the ruler. If you have a ruler like this, you can see these little short lines right here are lining up. And then I'm going to put another line on top. And then I can write between those two lines. So I'm going to write in all capital letters, Pacific O-C-E-A-N. And then we're going to be writing over the top of that with black ink. You can use a fine point Sharpie or a black ballpoint pen. Try to make all your letters the same height. See how my P is kind of short? I'm going to erase it. Make everything the same height. That will make it look the very best. Mine are kind of sloppy because I'm trying to write around the edges of the camera. So Pacific Ocean. So then if I label that with, I'm going to go over that once I have everything on here and spelled correctly. And you might ask one of your parents to check. Make sure you spelled everything correctly before you do it in ink. And go slowly and carefully, and it will turn out nicely. So once you've done it, this is a Sharpie fine point. Then you will erase the guidelines. But do all your lettering first before you do any inking or erasing. And then it looks really nice like that. But if you look closely, because I drew the lines kind of heavy so that you could see them, look what happens. Can you still see the guidelines there? Yep. And I can't erase those because I pressed too hard. So don't press hard. Okay, so Pacific Ocean. The way we label rivers is we write along the edge of the river. We don't write it. Everything else is straight across the page, but rivers we write along the edge. So this is the San Joaquin River. It goes along here and comes out here. So let's start here. We're going to go San, J-O-A-Q-U-I-N R-I-V-E-R. So it follows right along the shape of the river. This is the Sacramento River, the other major river in California, right along here. So you're going to write Sacramento, R-I-V-E-R. Right like that. And then this is Lake Tahoe up here. So you'll draw your guidelines again for this one. Use the little short lines. Your ruler may not have those little short lines. Try to make all your guidelines the same height. If you have to measure or use some other kind of guide that helps you to get them straight. You also were given a sample map with your kit, with your packet this week. Looks like this. This gives you an example of how a lot of things are done, how rivers are labeled, how mountains are drawn, how the caterpillar hairs should look. See how all the labeling is the same size throughout. So we're going to label everything, and then I will send you a picture of the finished map so you know where all the things are that you need to label. Let's label Mexico down here. Little guidelines. Keep having to turn my ruler around. Mexico. This is Nevada. So draw the bottom line, line up with the little marks on your ruler if you have that option, and write Nevada. N-E-V-A-D-A. Sorry, that was off the screen. So I drew the lines, wrote the state. Oregon up here. This Arizona is over here. You may have to write it across this way. Arizona. Because we always write sideways. We never write up and down on the map. And then the cities, you'll see on the final picture of the map I give you. But one of them would be Mountain View. So we make a little dot like that. And then we'll draw our guidelines and label it Mountain View. That's the name of the city. That's the city where our author was born. We'll put in Fresno down here. I have to figure out exactly where it goes. We're going to label San Francisco and Los Angeles just because those are places you know. And then you can get oriented in the state as to where those are. So you'll see those on the final photograph. And then we'll label the mountain ranges, again with guidelines. And you can put the word on 2 lines if you'd like. So you could write Sierra Nevada. I'm doing this in ink to start with just so you can see it, but don't do it like that. And this you could write Coast Range. Use your ruler to make the guidelines. Use your pencil to make the words. I'm just doing it quickly so you can see the work. All right, call me if you have questions and refer to the still photographs I send you for a final product.